Hey there, everyone. This is Jacqueline Jax for A.V.A. Live Radio, and you're listening to Behind the Music. It's a series on A.V.A. that delivers the perspective of the indie artist today. These amazing creators and songwriters are just so focused and passionate about what they're doing. You're going to hear a lot today on the show from someone who has a really specific reason for creating music, something very touching and heartfelt. But isn't it so that sometimes you just have to have a purpose to really move forward in life and get things done? Music has certainly done that for him, and I want to welcome him to AVA Live Radio with his new single, Get Up. This is Cintron. Hi, Cintron. How are you?
Good, doing great. Thanks for having me here.
I am so excited to have you here. And I'm so excited to meet you and be able to have this time together, because you've done something very special and for a very special reason. Do you want to tell the fans about why you started to sing?
Well, yeah. I started out just looking for an outlet, and buried with emotions, and the mind is just idling because I just didn't know how to express what I was actually going through, and so I started a nonprofit helping other families dealing with childhood cancer. But then I come to realize that I still needed to let it out. And so when I put a beat on and I was able to finally express myself, thanks to the kids that I work with, George and Jose. They told me to write, and so I wrote. Then they told me to put it in the mic, and so that's when I started to feel like really, really good about myself, and I felt a lot better. And it'll never go away, but it was a start to a healing process for me, and so I
Hmm.
come to appreciate music a lot more than what I could ever imagine.
It's powerful for sure. Your son was 7 when he passed away?
Yeah, he was 7 and passed away 7 days
I'm so
after his
sorry.
birthday.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry. I really am. I know you and I talked about this before, but I haven't officially gotten a chance to vocally, tell you that I'm sorry that that happened.
Yeah, I mean, things happen, and I just got to find a way to keep living, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. Keep my head above the water, and I feel like I'm doing it for him, and and I'm carrying him with me, and that's all I can do right now.
Centron, you have an amazing amount of strength and courage, and you've done such a great job. When I recently went through something kind of similar, my father was diagnosed with lung cancer, and we were told he wasn't going to live past the year, and he had to fight really, really hard and go through the whole thing. And, you know, so far his cancer is still fighting off, right? So he's kind of in remission in a way, and certainly has outlived what they speculated he was going to. But in that whole transition, that whole time, I remember I went through all of the different phases of grief, right? The shock and the anger and the like unfairness, and then trying to, for the first time ever, come to terms with someone really, really close to me actually, you know, going away and what that
Right,
means. And it was
right,
really difficult. And actually, outside of this process, even though he's still here, I know eventually that he won't be. And I know eventually that my mom won't be either. And it's kind of forced me to figure out what life is going to be like, outside of this moment in time. And I know that you never thought in this circumstance that that would have to happen to you because it's your son. How did you deal with it after? I mean, how did you come to terms with it aside from the music where you said, "Okay, I can breathe. I can keep going one step at a time."
well, well, sorry that you have to experience it, and it's tough because we all get caught in the moment, and in that moment, our lives, they stop. And so you're just thinking like, oh, wow, like, all types of things. And, the medical staff are, trained to tell you, some strong stuff and to the point. And, so you just kind of take it all in, and you just, you tell yourself, what do you do? So while you're stuck, there's time. And that time is the time that we can't get back. And it's time to fight and we're trying our best to help. And we're just thinking of ways that, you know, whatever we can do to kind of, help like beat this thing. And,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, he didn't make it. So then I was stuck in the trends, and I was just down in a dark, deep hole for a couple years before I could actually even come out of it. And man, it took time. And so they say, in time, with time, things heal.
Mm-hmm.
In time, things can get a little better for you, but it just doesn't go away. So, you know, I just, I thank God, man, to be able to, sit here and have a conversation with you after, what I had to experience as far as the aftermath, and
Yeah.
just knowing that he's not coming back, and so I just had to find a way to live, and just not exist, and just try to carry him with me. And the only thing I could think of aside from the nonprofit was, it was just the music. The music actually allowed me to finally, let it all out and just say, hey, I'm going to keep living. I'm going to carry you with me.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. I hear you. I totally hear it in your song too. I listened to it. Actually, I listened to it for about an hour because
Oh, really?
yeah, I did over and over again. I should have just played it on Spotify because I have it on the computer and I could have given you all those Spotify things. I'll just play it another 10 times on Spotify. But yeah, I wanted to get in the zone because we were designing your, your fan builder pages, and I wanted to hear the song so that I could kind of capture something from. I kept hearing certain spots in the song where I could really hear the reflection in your voice that you were talking to him. And it was really moving, really touching, you know. I don't know how soon or, how long ago it was, but or what the tempo or timing was like in the studio or the mood was like. But it almost like it sounds like you're talking to him in certain times, and it sounds like you're talking to a higher power in other times, like almost with a why did this happen question. And I think you did a really great job in that song because every time I listen to it, it just chokes me up. I really do want to like, that I'm rolling in the emotion with you. So you've done such a powerful job.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. That was my first song. And, I just, again, it was just, more importantly, I was just able to express it and just leave it all out there. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was happy with.
Look what he's left you. He's left you with so many great memories. And, I once read that for a purpose, right? And we're supposed to
Right.
seek out and find that purpose. And hopefully we all get lost around along the way, but some of us find it a lot faster than others. And I happen to believe in reincarnation. God knows I've been here before because a lot of the stuff that I do, I can't figure out how I know how to do it, you know. But
Right.
there's some part of me that just thinks that like every time we lose a soul, it's not that we've really lost them because I think that they come back to us over and over again in different lifetimes, for different purposes.
Right.
And sometimes you're there to teach and sometimes you're there to learn. I've always kind of felt that way. It's just it's just my intuition and probably just something that's part of my own faith. Do you believe in that?
Yeah, I mean, you have a red bird, that I never really, seen a red bird, and now I see a red bird. It's just, it's crazy. It's mind boggling. You just kind of go through things and you say, okay, well, you know, why is this happening? Or I never seen this before. And so, yeah, I see a red bird around the house a lot and through the window, and actually seen a bird on the floor. And driveway as I was pulling out one morning a couple of days ago, and I just, I'm still trying to piece it all together, because when you go through stuff like that, you kind of, it's tough to hold on to religion beliefs, just to be honest, and you just gotta find the strength to kind of, break through all that and understand that, we just have one life, and you know, and we got to get back to, what we were, kind of meant
Yeah,
to be, and it's just hard. It's hard.
it's very
It's hard.
hard. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's it's extraordinarily hard. I mean, look, every single time we lose a person in our lives for one reason or another, even if they just go away, it's so hard. And your son, obviously, so special and so precious. But you have these wonderful memories, I have no doubt. And he was here for a purpose. What do you think it was? What do you think that you learned from him while he was here? What did he teach you?
For one, um, to communicate, to keep in touch with family members, and because along my journey, I've always been one to where my belief was less is more, and what I mean by that is less talking for me, and what I would do and how I perform and everything I put my heart and soul into, it showed, and that's where the talk would come in. And so I've always been that way, and I've always been a person that didn't really have much to say, but I would put it all together and go after whatever the goal was, and try to accomplish it. And I've been fortunate to accomplish a lot of things, and so I've learned to communicate and to kind of just learn to love more, and you know do the things that are the little things that are actually important, that actually create a bigger impact.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great lesson for sure. What was your son's name?
Dimas Armani Cintron.
Dimas. What were things that, like, what was something that you used to love to do together?
Man, I mean, play basketball, and uh, he was funny,
Yeah,
and so we just joked, and he's an amazing kid, man. He tell me about his dreams and when he grew up, and
really?
what he wanted to be, and he's like, in kindergarten, he's like, everybody's like, when they grow up, you know, then they were asked what they wanted to be, and his response was, I wanted to be just like my dad.
Oh,
And I got
that's
this thing that, that he put together for me, just let me know, like, you know, that that's who he wanted to be
and
when
now
he
that he
grew up.
walks by your side every single day and watches you, now you know that you've got to be everything and more that he wanted you to be.
Oh, absolutely, because the weight is heavier, but I've learned to give, some of that weight to the man above, and
Hmm.
to kind of restore that energy. And, as I go along this journey, um, I'm definitely carrying him and a lot of weight. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
You are forever. And you've now completely immortalized him in this song. It's wonderful. It's really, really wonderful. It's just so heart spoken and so passionate, and everything that music needs to be. You've captured it. I, for one, cannot wait. I'm like anticipating your next arrival. you know, really, I am. Like, what's he gonna do to follow up on this one? Because
Yeah,
this
right.
is a serious story, and it's going to help a lot of people. I mean, I don't want to push you to stay in this moment, right? I definitely, just for your well-being and everything, you need to, of course, walk forward, and you need to open up and now really explore music and find out what you love, and you don't need to um only attempt to tell this story, because there's so many stories, and I'm sure your son wants to hear all of them. So like, it's important, right? That you've now figured
Yeah.
out what kind of artist you want to be, and what kind of struggles you want to talk about. And it can continue on with a lot of this, because you obviously have a lot to say. And as you go through it, there's no truer emotion than the one that's raw and right in front of you at this moment in time. And to be honest with you, that's what's really going to speak to people, because there are millions of people dealing with this exact thing for so many. I mean, I can honestly say that I have had so many friends lose children and lose people that were very, very important to them and so close to them. So there's not a person in this world that hasn't lost somebody, that doesn't need to hear this and doesn't need to have someone like you be their words for them, so that they can feel comforted and so that they can feel a little less alone as they're going through this.
I agree.
You know, it's a big purpose for you. And I know it's a lot to wear on your shoulders, but you could do it with some humor.
Yeah, yeah, right.
You know? Yeah, you can. I mean, it's, God, life is tough. It knocks us down. It really just belts us in the mouth every time we turn around, doesn't it?
It does. It sure does.
It does. Yeah, but at least we have each other. At least we have each other. And as musicians too, there's a kinship and a camaraderie that hopefully you don't run into the ones that are, that are just not into sharing it. But for the most part, at AVA Live Radio, you'll meet a lot of them that are that are good,
Right.
you know. But
Yeah.
I think that we know how to tell struggles and talk about stories and like put our words into music and make them make sense, so that other people can feel inspired and certainly feel less alone, and in that we find each other and we find ourselves. I love that you've learned a lot about yourself. What do you feel is going to be the most exciting purpose forward for you in your music? Do you want to do music videos? Do you want to just make one song at a time? Do you have a plan for an album? I mean, how far does this go in your mind so far?
Oh, well, making music, um, I've I got I'm working on quite a few different projects, and you know, most of it is going to be pretty much about my life experience and just kind of, you know, hopefully, um, hopefully, because everybody has a story to tell. It's just what we do with that story. It could either kind of bury us, or it could wake us up, and we could actually be better and help others. Because in the end, when everything's all said and done, the only thing we could really leave is a legacy, and in hopes of it being an encouraging legacy, something that people can be inspired by to find their way, and obviously within due time, but to know that we are here to live and not just exist. But I got the goal is to really kind of put together a nice solid 12 songs, and I'm gonna go from there. But so far so good.
So far, so good. Yeah, very proud of it. I think you should be so amazingly proud of what you've accomplished. And it's such a great thing that you brought it to us so that we could share it with the world and let people know your story. I appreciate that. I really do.
No, I appreciate you taking the time out, to listen to it, and want to pass it on in hopes of, touching, one person. I mean, if it touched one person, that's more than enough.
Absolutely. I think it's been wonderful. Well, thank you so much for bringing this. We're going to play it right now on the station. Cintron, thanks for being here and thanks for speaking from the heart. We really appreciate it. You helped a lot of people today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. It's been great. It's been a pleasure.
Certainly a great story and a wonderful song. What a strong and powerful soul he is to have taken up music and done it with such a wonderful purpose. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Please don't forget to share it with a friend. I've got the song for you right here. This is Get Up, brand new debut single from Cintron.